Cardinal Nation, what's happening? I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today. That's right, to the one and the only, the CardinOLL podcast. Why? Because this is the only classroom podcast that has been designed to interview industry and expert leaders to gain their insight and get golden nuggets, aka courage, from their experiences to help take your leadership and your learning right to the next level immediately. You know, like I always do, let me start off with a wonderful quote today. The quote today comes from media mogul Oprah Winfrey. She stated that passion is energy and that we need to feel the power from doing and focusing on the things that really excite us. Listen, Cardinal Nation, you heard me talk about a golden nugget and you heard me talk about courage. I want everyone to know that courage is the actual color that supports Cardinal Nation. Most people think that our cardinal is cardinal red and yellow or cardinal red and gold. The real color is courage. So when we say golden nuggets or those courage points, that's exactly what I am referring to. Listen, I want you to join me this month as I interview some really amazing guests who are going to do everything they can to give you some golden nuggets on how to live like never before, how to lead like never before, and how to learn like never before. You've heard me say it a million times. At this point in time, you know what you need to do, Cardinal Nation. Go get your pens, your pencils, your memo boards, your iPads, your iPhones, whatever it is that you take notes with as we head on into the classroom and learn and get some golden nuggets and a little courage so that you can learn to live like never before, learn like never before, and lead like never before. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cardinal Nation, you are in for a treat among all treats today. We have scoured the nation. We have went high and low. We have went far and wide. And I'm telling you, you are going to get some great golden nuggets. I know I got the golden microphone, but today's golden nuggets are going to be phenomenal. I'm really excited. The energy that our guest brings today, as well as the wisdom and the knowledge, I don't even know what the word is. I'm speechless, even just trying to even come up with an introduction. But for those who don't know, and some who do know, I'm going to introduce, and I'm going to, as we jump right into the deep end, is Carol Wesley. She's in insurance. She's going to talk to us today about some great things. Carol, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Been on vacation all week and had some time to relax. And when I found out that I was going to have this opportunity with you, I'm just excited.
Exactly. Listen, I think I'm more excited than you, which could probably be a problem as we're going through this podcast today. So if I get a little too elated, just tell me to calm down, and I'll get us right back on track. I promise.
Fair enough.
So, Carol, here on the podcast, this is the question we ask all our guests. It's how we kick off everything. It's how we start everything. Our podcast is a classroom podcast that is dedicated to take our Cardinal Nation, as well as anybody else who are our faithful listeners out there, to take their leadership and their learning to the next level. So when it comes to leadership, we've asked every guest, and you're no different. We're going to do it with you today too. How is that you define leadership?
To me, my definition is simple. I lead by example in hopes that I can inspire and motivate a group or an individual to move towards something.
Okay. Inspire, motivate, to move towards something. Okay.
In my industry of insurance, I find that young men and young women will reach out to me. They'll come and talk to me. And the one response that I receive a lot is Miss Carol, you inspire me. So I try to reflect upon, in speaking with them, I just do what I do. I don't reflect. Everything I do comes from the heart. But I try to set an example about setting goals, making decisions on what those are, committing to those goals, and taking action. And then after we take action, sometimes we have to make adjustments along the way in our course of attaining the goal that we're trying to reach.
That's interesting. First of all, I love the definition. Flat out, love the definition. But you added an extra piece that I don't think anyone's
really talked about. And that's kind of like that course, like take action, but hey, guess what? Sometimes it's not, that outcome is not going to be what you thought it was going to be. And you may have to make some adjustments along the way. And that's okay too.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we think like, oh, I'm the I see the rainbow, I'm going to find the pot of gold, and when I get there, there's going to be a pot of gold. But the reality is, what happens if you get there and there's no gold? Or what if you never get there? Or obviously, clearly, we know if you chase a rainbow, you're going to be running around for a very long time. But like, so when it comes to failure, I don't even know if I've asked a guest this question, but like, how do you see that? How do you handle failure, or how would you think it should be handled if my goal needs to be readjusted or reacclimated? I'm not saying that's failure, but it could be considered failure, or it could be a failed attempt.
If I set a goal, or if anyone sets a goal, I advise, I myself and advise others, when you have a long-term goal, you set small goals to reach that goal. So in increment, you reach one goal, it boosts your confidence, your esteem. Then you set the next goal, then the next one. And that's those small successes build towards your larger success. Now, in that process, if I'm not meeting, or I don't think I am accomplishing what it is I'm striving for, then I'm going to seek counsel from someone who's gone ahead of me. Now, if I do not reach my goal, you can look at that as a failure, but to me, it's a failure when you stop and don't pursue outside counsel. It's not a failure to not succeed at something unless you sit down. If you keep going, it's like getting up to the plate, swinging the bat. You keep swinging the bat. If you don't know the correct form, then you seek counsel from someone who's better than you, that's accomplished. Then you adjust your course of action to attain your success.
I love that. I love that. I love that. It's not failure until you just completely stop all the way, give up. I'm done. I'm not going to try to go for this goal anymore. If you were advising someone and they came and they were having that moment, right? You're a mentor to someone in the insurance industry. They says, Carol, I don't think I can do this. Maybe I picked the wrong profession. I can't sell to save my life. I can't close to get it to really, make my commission or whatever the case may be. What wise counsel do you provide to them in that moment?
Well, first of all, I don't think of what I do or we do as selling. I know that most do.
Right.
I've had people make comment to me, "Oh, Carol, you just sell insurance." I take offense to that. I think that's the overall mentality of anybody who is in quote unquote sales. What I do and what I teach is we are partnering up with our clients and we are identifying a need.
Got you.
And the way that we help and to identify that need is to get to know that family. There's pictures on the walls. There's things sitting around. To look them in the eye, to show some dignity and respect by making that eye contact and taking the time to get to know them. I think that's what sets us apart. I think that's what sets me apart. I truly care about people. I love people. Each person, I can only help one person at a time in my profession, and that person brings value, and I want them to know that. I may be the only person that expresses that. I've gotten feedback from my clients. Thank you. It's not about selling. It's about coming alongside and speaking the value that I see in that individual. And then along with learning about their family and what the goal is that they're trying to accomplish. Yes, they reached out for insurance, but is it just to pay for a final expense? Is it to leave their family a legacy? Is it to cover leftover debt?
I love it. I love that. I love that. So I'm going to ask my next question because I think it ties right in. You said you're a people person. So if you could describe what is your leadership style, or if, made up or real, I guess, What is that? What is your style? Does it exist, or is it something you kind of coined a new phrase, or how's that work?
I believe that my style is servant leadership.
Okay.
How can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you? People have in mind what they think they want, what they need. I believe that there's 5 steps. We say there's 5 steps why people don't sign up or apply, but in any relationship, trust. Trust is number 1, establishing trust.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a want. We all have in our desires things that we want, but in our investigation and increasing our knowledge, then we identify what the need is.
Right.
And then we're looking at what is the sense of urgency. And then, of course, in insurance, it's about affordability.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, all these things come into play. Okay, so in servant leadership, I have to build trust. How do I do that? How do I serve? How can I help? By listening.
Right.
By listening. That's in any relationship, whether it's business or personal. Then helping one discuss why do they think they're interested in this field. Talk about their attributes. What attributes do they bring to the table? How will those work as a positive for them? What do they see as their weaknesses? Why do they feel those are weaknesses? How can we develop those? Sometimes a weakness isn't a weakness, Professor Owens. Sometimes it's been undeveloped or underdeveloped.
Right. No, I get it.
So it's exciting.
That's amazing because yeah, one, I think it's amazing that you take offense to saying you just sell insurance. I think that's I was reading, somebody had sent an email to me the other day, or maybe I saw it on LinkedIn. I can't remember. They say you do the greatest disservice when you say somebody just does something. Like you're just an intern, you're just a salesman, you're just an associate, you're just the administrative assistant, because they said that person, you when you put that just out there, you limit them instead of maximize them. You don't consider them like an equal. You can't make them really inclusive because you've already shut down all their talents, all their gift, all their servant leadership ability. If someone says you're just an insurance salesman, then it's like, but what about all the other great things that I do to and for people? I love people. I like people just like you like. So if you say I'm just a professor, it's like, well, geez, you just shortchanged me for all the real talents that I really do have.
Right. The thing that I tried to teach and set an example, and I believe I do, first of all, my medium is insurance, but I'm in the people business. We're all in the people business. You and I are interacting right now. We're building a relationship. We're trying to put out a message. We want to set a great example. We want to teach. I think podcast is a platform to teach, to help people grow. So I'm in the people business and I love people and I want to get to know that person. I bring my personality to the table, but I'm sitting and listening and trying to identify what type of individual they are. We all learn differently. I want to approach this from their perspective, including their individualism, speak to them in the way they can receive knowledge. We all want to be helped. We all are seeking and want to learn something. Even if we want to buy something, nobody wants to be sold. When we use the term sold, to me, we are having a disregard and we're only concerned about our agenda. And in the sales arena, if we are concerned about the individual and we meet that need and they feel that we care, we have shown a level of care, we will make a living at whatever it is, whatever our field is. The sale cannot be the primary focus or you will not be successful.
Right.
The individual, always your client, your friend, the person you sit in front of to instill value, they are the focus.
Mm-hmm. There it is. I think that's it. I think that and I don't know if it's a society. I don't want to get on a rant and say it's a societal issue that, we stopped at some point, we stopped caring about people and more, we put more emphasis on processes. But I think that there is something probably to be said about that at some point, I don't know when, right? It just became that we became more process focused. And if we can put more widgets out, then we'll be more, quote unquote, we'll be more successful. If we can produce more X than the other company, then that's how we define success. When the reality is like you said, if you don't really care about your people, if you don't care about the consumer, at some point the consumer will stop caring about your widgets. They'll stop caring about your product because they feel like you don't care about me.
Have you heard this whole saying, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care?
Yes.
Have you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who coined it originally, but we all want to be seen. When you speak with someone, you want to be seen. In other words, right. You and I'm seeing you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I value you. I think as individuals, we all need that. And in our fast-paced society, push a button here, go to the drive-through, order something off the Amazon. We live in a now instantaneous, I want it now, I want immediate gratification world. In that, I believe the benefit of relationship can get lost.
Yes.
And no matter what platform, how technology grows, how fast business becomes, how fast you want to turn over a product or an idea, we still are individuals and we still need that relationship.
Yeah, I totally agree 100%. So let me ask you this. I mean, we just mentioned that phrase. Now, I think I first read that phrase in maybe a John Maxwell book. I don't think he coined the phrase.
I believe you're right.
But I read it in the John Maxwell book. And knowing that, I would just want to know, knowing that how you have defined and how you live and how you lead and knowing your style, who are some of the people that exemplify leadership to you, or who are some of your examples when it comes to leadership?
In my immediate realm, my team leadership consists of Roger Short, Chris Ball, and Zach McElwain are just some of the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they are servant leaders. They care about impacting an individual. How can they connect with the individual, help us to learn more, set the platform up, give us the tools. Training is very important. It builds confidence. It gives you knowledge. What we want to strive for is to be subject matter experts in our field. How do we do that? Through training, through mentoring. And then hopefully that wants to pass on to the client care. So those three gentlemen, for sure.
Right.
In my lifetime, let me kind of give a balance for me. I believe a healthy balance for all of us is the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual. So I've had spiritual leaders attending Bible studies or different type of classes to learn in that aspect. There is a lady who was a teaching leader, Nancy Ogle. I have an immediate person in my life, a good friend, Beverly Sauer.
Mm-hmm.
She has, I think in life, we need people who've gone before us always and set examples. It's trying to connect yourself with people where you want to grow. You identify who's gone ahead of you, who knows something I don't know. So those are some of the people. Okay.
Those are awesome. So you keep more of a close circle when it comes to, those leadership examples, people you actually can probably you can touch and connect or pick up the phone and call.
That's one aspect. Another aspect is through reading. I am in the process of reading the book, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson for the second time. He expounds upon one thing I've been focusing on is how in our course of action, setting goals and trying to meet those short-term goals, going toward our overall goal, is planning, how the things that we do to plant, where we get our training, who we learn from, what we read, understanding the value of cultivation and time. So Bob Goff wrote the book Dream Big. So I try to read little bits of some books. I don't know that I ever finished one. But just a little bit here, a little bit there. So yes, I have the tangible people I can reach out and touch. Then there's reading through education, and then sometimes going to conferences, being exposed to people who have had great success. And you'll find oftentimes everybody starts at ground zero. Nobody arrived. Nobody born arrived. I've had people say to me that I work with, Miss Carol, you never have a worry in the world. All this comes natural to you. Well, I have 40 years in the sales realm, 40 years of people contact, investing in others. And so it evolves over time. And what I have on younger people is time. It's not that I know more than them necessarily, that I have greater gifts than they do, but I've been where they are, but I have the value and the benefit of time.
And see, I think that I don't know, right? Like, I think when I was younger, and I'd say younger, like I'm, 120 years old, right? Like, when I was younger, I thought that if I didn't have it by 25, that like I hadn't arrived. Like, how did I not? And then I realized, like, if you have it at 25, you're probably an anomaly. And if you're an anomaly, there's a reason. And then the more I learned that there's so much more when you just wait and be patient about it, right? I don't know if it means more. I don't know if it resonates with people more, but I realized that at 40, there's no way I would have the impact that I do now had I even quote unquote arrived at 25 or 26. I probably would have fumbled the ball, no doubt. And then it would have prayed for grace from people.
Those Professor Owens, that time you're talking about, Jeff Olson refers to that as a cultivation time. Something I didn't realize when I was younger, and I think a lot of young people today don't realize it. I got on a path when I was younger, and it was taking longer. I was walking blindly, if you will. I didn't reach out enough to people.
Right.
The time it takes. If I may quote here from Jeff Olson, he says, consistently repeated daily actions plus time equal incomparable results.
Right.
I didn't understand the concept of time, in that the decision I make today has an effect still on my life in the long term. And that is so critical. But in our today's time, because we live so fast, immediate gratification, immediate response, there are many times that younger people and myself have been on the proper path, but I didn't give it enough time. I didn't understand. See, time allows to build patience, to grow in maturity, and we don't allow that. Well, this is not happening fast enough for me, so I must not be doing the correct thing. I need to go seek something else. And I think that's how we all have tripped ourselves up time and again in life.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%, especially that quote. That was a phenomenal quote. I'm definitely going to go back and write that down. I mean, not write it down, but plaster it on. I have a quote wall and put that quote up there because it reminds me of another quote that, and it ties right into that, by, I think it was Andy Stanley, who wrote in his book, The Principle of the Path. And this was, I've read the book, but probably like you, I think I've just taken more snippets from the book than I've actually read the book. And he said in there, he says, like, you are where you are today because of the decisions you made, last week, last year, whatever. And it's like, I don't think we give decision-making enough credit. right? In that time process, even like your author did, because it's like you have to consistently make good decisions in order to get what you want. And it's not like you made a good decision today, you can make a poor decision for the next 4 weeks and then think that that one decision you made 4 weeks ago is going to carry you over. It's not. You're going to have to make good decisions yesterday, the day before that, and then not only do I got to make good decisions today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and then the accumulation of all those good decisions kind of land me where I want to be, somewhere on my goal sheet, and I should be able to track and say, yes, now I know I'm moving in the right direction. And like I said, it's not going to be instant. It's going to take time.
Right. Jeff Olson says in his book, it's just as easy to make a good decision as it is a bad decision. It's just as easy. It's a choice. It's just as easy to get up and exercise as it is just as easy not to. Right. Those little differences day by day make a difference. And we do this reading. Some of us read to remind us, to keep us on track, because we all can get off track very easily, very easily. Definitely. You know, it's just as easy to sleep in to 8 o'clock as it is for me to get up at 6:30.
No doubt. No doubt.
Choice. It makes a difference in my day. It makes a difference in how much I accomplish for that day.
Yeah, I 100% agree. One thing I used to tell my athletes when I was coaching football, I used to tell them every day, you know, whether you have a good day or bad day, it starts when that alarm clock goes off. You got two options. Do you get up or do you hit snooze? That's the most important decision you're going to make. If you hit snooze, I guarantee you some other things are going to go on wrong in that day. If you get up, if you do the hard thing and get up, because you set the alarm the night before or whatever, the week before, the day before, if you get up and do the hard thing, then good things are probably going to happen that day because you're willing to do, you got up when you said you were going to get up.
I'll tell you something funny. A friend of mine who is probably about 20 years older than I am, she always said, you could determine how your day's going to go if you get up and make your bed or if you don't. Now, I can tell you I've never bought into that, but she's a believer in it.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking exactly and directly to you. Do you have some college and no degree? Are you an adult learner in a career industry and you're ready to get promoted and lead like never before? Well, trust me, if that's you, if you are ready to lead like never before, and if you're ready to learn to lead with empathy, compassion, and expertise, that's right, well, then I want you to do something. I want you to be the game changer in your industry that your industry is waiting for you to become. This is what I want you to do. Get on your computer or your mobile device, and I want you to type in the URL at the top, I want you to type in uofl.me/BSOLL-podcast. That's right. Once you pull that up on your computer screen, you're going to learn a lot of information. You're going to see a lot of cool things, a lot of great things. You're going to learn how you can save money and save time towards your college degree. You're going to learn about what we call PLA, your prior learning assistance, and what you can do with that. Once we get your PLA, that is just credit that you're going to have that's going to get you college credit for things you've already done. Listen, check us out, uofl.me/BSOLL-podcast. Listen, I'll be waiting for you in my classroom.
Well, I think that ties into my next question when we go into learning. So the next question I want to ask when it comes to learning is, in your opinion, how do you think learning takes place? Does it take place when you make that bed, when you don't make that bed, when you get up, when you don't get up? How do you think learning takes place on either the individual or the group level?
Well, learning takes place on an individual level. I think it kind of interconnects with group level. Mm-hmm. Individually, am I willing to invest? Am I willing to decide, make a commitment, take an action to invest in me, to be open to the training that I'm receiving? And am I willing not just to receive it, but to study it, to get it ingrained into me so that I be comfortable with it, so that I can implement it in a very professional, effective way? Group is, we can be with a group who are learning the same things, but because of their experiences, they may intellectually process it differently or initially implement it. So we learn from each other that way because we've had different age groups. We're all on this path, but we're at different places in the path based on age, maybe education, interpersonal experiences with others. And then say in a more corporate work setting, you have people come together in those type groups and are learning in seminars. But to me, it's all connected. It's all connected.
Good. I like that. It is all connected. But let's get into why exactly we're on the podcast today. Well, I wanted to cover a very interesting topic called client care that you brought up and that you mentioned to me. And I think we've kind of covered well, you know what? Let's start there. Let's see if you tell Cardinal Nation, tell those listeners, tell us about the insurance industry and how you found success in the industry.
The part of insurance is that I am a part of is final expense. And so what final expense means is that people reach out about coverage at the end of life, financially to have something in place to take care of that. They're not doing that for themselves. They're doing it for their families. So they're not leaving a hardship behind. It's bad enough when somebody passes, we're close to them. We love them. It is the full circle of life, but yet we don't want to leave this burden behind.
Right.
How I got into the industry was I passed one of the pastors at church just in the vestibule there or the atrium, and he had spoken with a particular group, Advancing Partners, that I'm a part of. Asked to give a luncheon. He had lunch with them, and he said to me, Kira, I don't know a lot about them. I believe they're very honorable, and you're honorable. So I pursued that. How I have become successful, it's a lot of dynamics together. I have these gifts, the gift, the love for people, the gift to serve, the gift to show value. What does it mean to serve? To want to help, to want to make a difference in that person's life, in an individual's life, one person at a time. I am methodical in my learning. When I went into this industry, I'll just tell you, I was 59 years young. I've had a lot of experiences. I've been successful in other fields, but I went in with a mindset, with a blank mind. I knew I had the people skills. But in order for me to be successful, I went in as if I knew nothing. I thought that was the best way. There's a lot of information thrown at you initially in your learning. There's different carriers that I'm licensed with. They have similar but different products based on similar or different health impairments that people have, what medications they're taking. So it's not about just receiving it. I had to study. There's a process that I follow, that we're all taught to follow, to build those bonds with those individuals, to help identify those needs. So in being methodical, I did every day what I was asked to do. Those people before me, Roger Short, Chris Ball, Zach McElwain, they perfected this process. So why would I want to reinvent the wheel? It's best to just listen and do what I was asked. And learning to get all this to flow and work together, it takes time, I think, and to ask questions. Always seek from people who are more knowledgeable. My customers teach me a lot. Being open to knowledge. That, I believe, is what's made me successful, allow me to be successful in the insurance industry.
That's amazing. I like that. And so let me ask you this. You mentioned client care and some of the aspects and that come along with it, but why is it so valuable? Why is it such a key indicator, shall we say, in your industry, or in your opinion, why do you think it's a key indicator?
When somebody reaches out for insurance or any industry, they're counting on me to be the subject matter expert. They're counting on me to lead them. They don't know me. I'm a stranger invited into their home, but they're trusting in me that I know what I'm doing and that I can explain and educate them. So believe me, the client knows the difference between someone who cares and trying to lead them to what they want to accomplish, or somebody just comes in and says da 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 and writes them a policy and leaves. I come in behind these people who do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find is they've written the wrong type of policy, or they have falsified a question on the policy. And when speaking with the client says, I told them that I smoke. I mean, it's obvious when you're in the home if somebody smokes or not, but yet someone has come in and selected non-smoking. So why do they do that? I believe they do that just to write the policy and offer a lower premium so the client will take it.
Right.
So here's what happens when someone does that. That death benefit will not be paid out if there's a falsification on that contract.
Oh, wow.
So what I do is very serious, and it must be accurate. And in the client care aspect, in building that bond and building that trust, I must uncover why they want to protect their family. Who do they want to protect? Why does it make a difference? What if they don't protect them? What if they don't make that decision while I'm there?
Right.
And then identifying those health impairments, whether it's diabetes or high blood pressure, or they've had a heart attack or a stroke, or they had cancer previous. What medications are they taking? That's why we have so many different carriers that I can draw from. I would never work for one company. I have the option of 20 different carriers so that I can serve everyone. This is critical. Client care is critical.
And you mentioned listening as one. You say you listen, and obviously, I'm sure you don't like getting into the dishonesty of it. But what are some of the best client care tactics aside from listening, or maybe you want to expound on listening? What are some of the other tactics out there that you use or that you feel that you've come across that really work well for you?
Well, we have something that we call CORE. It's a formal thing, but I'll tell you how I've always done it. When you're meeting with a family, to break it down for new people, do they have children? What is their occupation? What are they currently working with? Who are they retired from? What do they do for recreation? What makes them emotional? What drives their emotion? Why have they reached out? What has happened?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a recent death in the family? Did somebody pass in years back, but they didn't have coverage, and they felt the burden of having to chip in when they were in a financial position where they couldn't?
Right.
So in asking good questions and then listening, and how do I convey that I'm listening? I'm making eye contact. I'm making response in that my body posture, that I'm interested, building that trust, listening. And in listening and receiving their information, then I can ask additional good questions that helps me identify why they've reached out. Then just covering that it's doing things the old-fashioned way, Professor Owens. I go to their homes. It's the old-fashioned way. It's one-on-one. I want to meet them. I want them to meet me. I want them to know who I'm building a relationship with.
Right.
And then just identifying reasons why they reached out. I mean, people reach out for 4 reasons. They don't have any coverage at all. Mm-hmm. They have some coverage or not enough. Mm-hmm. They may have coverage, but I do a review to find out if there's any of these discrepancies, or maybe they have exactly what they need and they don't really need my specific help. They just want to be reassured, or they have some financial situation, doctor bills, credit cards, whatever. And then just kind of learning why it's important to them now. Right. And then sharing what the costs are now. And reassuring them that everything that I represent is fixed. There are policies that go up as we age. There's different type of policies for different reasons, but everything is fixed. Most of my clients range from 50 to 89. Everybody lives on a budget. I do. I know you do.
Right.
As we retire, oftentimes people have less incomes. So I have to be sensitive to writing the correct coverage up front because I don't want them to cancel it. And Professor Owens, I help 250 to 280 families a year, and very rarely do I have a cancellation because I am identifying their need, specifically affordability, because I want them to keep it.
Right.
And then a step forward after we're finished, they'll bring up they have family members, or I'll ask who else I can help. But even a step further in client care, it is not just a transaction. We build relationship. I send out handwritten thank yous. I send out Christmas cards. I send well over 1,000 Christmas cards a year to my families. I send out birthday cards. I don't handwrite them anymore. I don't have the time, but I developed my own verses and had them printed in cards that I had created. Why? Because these people matter. They have value. I love them as individuals. This whole picture from the beginning of knocking on that door, being invited in, to the follow-up, to making sure that my name and number is in their telephone. If they need me, they have that access. I answer. I care. This matters.
Wow. Man, you make me want to research the policy, and I don't even think I need one right now.
Well, everyone should. I meet with families who think they've identified the coverage. They've called on the telephone. They've gotten something through the mail. Those coverages are very different than what you can qualify for by having yes, I'm an agent, but I do the initial underwriting by sitting down and asking the initial health questions. If I'm doing what I do accurately,
right,
professionally, honestly, upfront, I've selected the correct product, the correct company, based upon the need, the health impairments. My client is affordable to the best coverage, the most affordable coverage, and in many cases, what we call immediate coverage, which means when that premium's drafted, their full coverage is in effect that day, the full face amount. Things that you get through over the phone or through the mail, people don't read the fine print. Oftentimes, that full death benefit is not in effect until one day after 2 years. These people don't know that.
Wow.
And so this is the word insurance is used loosely. That's what I'm talking about, client care. The intricate, the specifics, the details. This is very important.
Definitely. That is, listen, I can feel how much you care coming through the airways, the technology. I can feel it. Like, you really care about your people and the people that you're helping. And it's very obvious and very evident. And man, the insurance industry is blessed to have Carol Wesley working with those clients and those people each and every day. There is no doubt in my mind. But Carol, before I let you go, we have to do what I call our rapid fire round. And this, listen, I could probably talk to you for another 30, 40, maybe even an hour about all this information, because I feel like I'm learning. And, you know, while I'm trying to lead the podcast, I'm learning more than I am leading the podcast at this point in time. But before I get you out of here, we do what is called rapid fire. Rapid fire is 5 fast questions. You can answer them however you feel. Just the first thing that pops into your mind, right? It's this little fun segment we have on the podcast. So here we go. Question number 1 of rapid fire. If you could pick one word to describe your life so far, what would it be and why?
Unimaginable.
Oh, I love it. Why?
Well, I would have no idea when I was younger that I would be exposed, that I would have this ability to reach out to so many people. I'm a sponge for knowledge, for learning. I've reached out and been exposed and been in the room with so many people, whether it be intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, just to learn from them. The essence of me is based upon the people who I have surrounded myself with or who have come in contact with unintentionally.
Unimaginable. No one's used that word. I love that word, as a matter of fact. That's amazing. Oh, okay. Anyway, I don't want to get hung up. Okay, here we go. Rapid fire, because it's supposed to be quick. Rapid fire.
All right.
All right, here we go. That's on me. That's not on you. Rapid fire. What are 3 non-negotiable characteristics that anyone on your team or tribe has to have?
I know a bunch of them. Now I'm stumped. I'm drawing a blank. The willingness, be teachable.
Yep.
Be determined. Have follow through.
Ooh, nice. I like all those. Man, you're still on all the good answers. You're cheating. Everybody's going to start watching your podcast and get all the good answers. Rapid fire. Question 3. What is your favorite dessert?
Coconut cream pie.
Ooh, that's a first. You have all the first. No one said that. Okay. If you could do your career all over again, what industry would you have worked in?
I would have worked in insurance. I myself, when I was younger, I looked at insurance, I think, in a negative way.
Right.
Partly because I didn't have the education about it, partly from experiences, probably. But when I was younger, I don't think I had the confidence in myself. And when I got in my 40s, I thought I didn't have the ability to pass the test. I don't know why I thought that. But insurance, everybody needs it. It is a great way to serve and make an impact in people's lives. And those cards that I send, when one person calls or texts and says, Miss Carol, that's the only Christmas card I received in my life, or birthday card, or it's the only one I received this year, that is the whole purpose, to show every one of those people that I value them and they have value as human beings.
No doubt. That's amazing. Last question. Now, this is a pretty deep one, so it may take a little while, but I think
I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I'm giving it thought.
All right, here we go. If you could sit with your 13-year-old self going back just a couple years ago, what would you tell her?
To dream big. Dream big. I didn't dream big enough. I didn't know that I could. I didn't know that I should. I came from great, hardworking parents. They were proud of me. They said, always do your best. It was an unspoken word that if I wanted something, I had to work for it. Had to dig in, study to achieve what I wanted. I didn't dream big enough.
Wow.
I didn't dream big enough. I would encourage anybody that's 13 to have their parents or to seek out somebody who would buy them the book, The Slight Edge. A 13-year-old is old enough to be able to understand these concepts of planting, cultivating, and reaping. You see somebody, all of a sudden, they're successful, and they make the comment, boy, they were successful overnight. No, they weren't. It was a series of planting and cultivating that brought them to fruition.
Right. I love it. I love it. Definitely going to have that out there. Definitely going to add that to my list of books to read as I close out this year. Okay, so here's a fun fact. Right?
Right.
All right, here we go. This is the stumper, right? So if your life was the title of a book, made up or real, right, what would it be and why?
The title of my book will be, I Believe in Being a Difference Maker.
I like it.
And why? I have a responsibility to make a difference every day in a life of someone who I come in contact with. That can be as simple as us giving a smile or opening a door, or it could be a recent experience. I called to refill a prescription, and I know the pharmacist assistant, and they were taking their pharmacist exam, and they didn't pass it.
Mm.
And I said, and they were kind of down, and I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a crayon or whatever. I want you to write in your bathroom mirror, I believe in me. I want you to write, I can and I will. When are you retaking that test? November. Okay, you need to be studying today. This is not 2 weeks before. Have you identified the areas in which that you need to study more on? Yes, then do it. There's not an option. The option is to pass. Do what it takes to pass. I don't have to speak into that, but it comes out of me naturally. I believe in the capacity of every individual. We need to speak into them.
That is phenomenal. I think that you are a golden, not even golden, you're just a gem in your industry. I think, you're a gem in the old, I think it was Susan who let me know that I think you were a graduate of the OLL program, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
2009. I went back to school in 2008, August, and graduated in December 2009.
Oh, you were flying through.
Well, I had to. I wasn't as young as everybody else. I had to get back to work. I had some hours accumulated. I had to hoof it.
I got it. Listen. So first of all, Carol, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you could be writing cards, you could be doing your client care, you could be perfecting, you could be teaching, you could be reading a book, doing a seminar. There's a million things that you even talked about today that you could be doing. So I want to thank you for just taking a few minutes out of your day and sharing some of those golden nuggets to help take the Cardinal Nation, to help take our listeners, to help take mine. My leadership and our leadership and our learning capacity and our ability to really think about that client care perspective and that servant leadership perspective to a whole new level and be effective and impactful immediately. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm honored for being asked.
I couldn't think of a better guest for today. Ladies and gentlemen, she's the one, she's the only, she's the venerable. If you need an insurance agent, maybe you can reach out to her. I'm sure I can find out how you can get in contact with her. Let us know. Cardinal Nation, thank you for tuning in today for the CardinOLL podcast, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you, Miss Wesley. Yes, Miss Wesley. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Listen, Cardinal Nation, we did it again. We found another phenomenal guest, and she hit it out of the park. Miss Carol Wesley, I can't begin to tell you how grateful and excited I was for that interview. And listen, our guests and our lineup this season for season 2 have been nothing short of spectacular. They've done and given us all the golden nuggets, all the courage we need to lead like never before, to learn like never before, and to have phenomenal existence here while we do what we do. Listen, the golden nuggets that Miss Carol gave us today, and I have them right here in my notebook. 1, leaders, lead by example and take your people somewhere that they couldn't go without you. 2, when it comes to learning is about your commitment to invest in something. If you're not willing to commit to invest, then your chances are you're not going to learn. And I can't begin to explain the importance of people matter. Treat people like you care about people because they have value. Listen, I want you to do this. When you get up in the morning, I want you to start making your bed. If you can do that simple and that small thing, I think you're going to be able to have better days. And that simple task, you heard it from Miss Wesley. You heard it from Carol herself. She has a friend who believes if you get up and make your bed, your day's going to be great. And listen, I can't deny that because I make my bed every single day. Listen, Cardinal Nation, for those of you who want to learn more about our program, to learn about all the great things we do and all the degrees from certificates all the way to doctoral degrees, this I need you to do. Get on your mobile device, no matter what it is, or your laptop or computer, go to uofl.me/podcast-OLL. Again, that's uofl.me/podcast-OLL. cardinol.me/podcast-OLL. There you'll learn about all our certificates, our bachelor's degree, our master's degrees, and all of our doctoral degrees, all degrees connected to the great OLO program. And I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Listen, today I know we took your leadership and your learning to the next level. And that's what we're going to do every single week. We're going to take your leadership and your learning to the next level immediately. But this is what I need you to do. If you like what you see, download, like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave comments. Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you see us, leave a comment, tell us you like what we're doing, and we'll keep giving you great content. Listen, you heard me say it 1,000,000 times, and I'm going to say it 1,000,000 more. It's what we close with every week. You can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples in a seed, because when you teach, you have no idea who and how many people that you really are going to influence. So listen, Cardinal Nation, as I sign off for today, there's a few things I need you to do until we see each other again next week. I need you to keep leading, I need you to keep learning, and I need you to keep influencing. So listen, do those 3 things, and this is what I need you to do until I see you next week. Take care and stay safe.